Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Just look, I've got headphones on, we're gonna have some fun. Just when you think the Masters Universe stuff should die down, it doesn't, because Kevin Smith can't stop opening his mouth and making it worse and projecting all day long. We'll get into that. I just want to start briefly with a tweet I showed in yesterday's video where he says, "Good morning to everyone except Kevin Smith, who effed up Masters of the Universe. Want to talk about it? Tonight at Smod Castle, me and the voice actor for Orko are ready to listen." So I said, is he setting another trap, or is Kevin Smith coming around and actually wanting to discuss with the audience, with fans of Masters of the Universe, their troubles, gripes, praises for the show? Well, spoiler alert, he turned the comments off within a couple of minutes of the podcast beginning. Turned them off. So, no, he wasn't prepared to listen, and he certainly wasn't prepared to talk about it with you on his podcast. All that he had were the people who paid money to go see him live, and there was about 20 or so, or 50 or so of those people. So, yeah, I would hardly imagine they were going to be too aggressive, having spent money to go watch Kevin Smith live. Now, the whole thing with Clownfish TV, I'm just going to briefly go through this. March 10th of last year, this is the tweet that caused all the issues, for Kevin Smith at least. Clownfish tweeted out, and they didn't at Kevin Smith into this. I think they hashtagged it Masters of the Universe, but they didn't at Kevin Smith. He came in and replied of his own volition. My understanding of Kevin Smith's He-Man series from an alleged insider, Teela is a better He-Man than Adam, and he steps aside to let her and a girlfriend take over hero duties. Now, although this is a very base way of saying it, they're not actually wrong. They're not actually wrong with how the series has gone on. The first 5 episodes, the first series 1, I guess, is over. So, spoiler alert, I'm going to go into, spoilers. Yeah, Teela is actually shown to probably be better than He-Man at some points, because they even showed them fighting together, and He-Man's just like all open to Teela to just, oh, you take him, but that's by the by. But ultimately, yeah, he dies in the first episode. He-Man dies in the first episode. So you can argue semantics with he steps aside. This is just the way that the rumor's being given to them. Something removes He-Man from the equation. It's semantics that's being argued. He steps aside, and her girlfriend take over. And again, Kevin Smith denies, and he denies in this podcast as well, that the other woman, Aria, whatever, she's Teela's girlfriend, but the queer baiting is real. Massively real. Teela says to a woman who she's trying to get a contract from that she's done fighting. She wants to stick with something more. I want to get away from adventures. I want to stay with something more tangible. And her girlfriend turns to her, and they both give each other gooey eyes. And then when her girlfriend says, "No, I want to go on this adventure," Teela comes up behind her and does big arms, big fucking burly man arms, by the way, because she's a man now. Big burly man arms around her, and says, "Wherever you go, I go." Normal friend stuff. So yeah, the queer baiting is there, and Kevin says, no, they're definitely not boyfriend. They're definitely not boyfriend, because Teela's a man. Definitely not girlfriend and girlfriend. Okay, queer baiting is then, Kevin. Who take over hero duties. And yes, they do take over hero duties because He-Man's dead. So they're given a task to try and reunite the power sword, the sword of power. And they've got to go to heaven, and they've got to go to hell to do it. So yes, she takes over hero duties. So although it's very basely written down, it sums up everything that does happen in the first 5 episodes. Kevin says, as showrunner, I really could have used these story suggestions. We locked the scripts, however. We locked the scripts, but you already had them anyway, so you already did it. Doesn't matter. However, no, He-Man does no stepping aside. Yes, he does. And Teela has no girlfriend in our show. Clearly does, but okay, we'll just go with queer baiting then. The storyline is pretty dark and way metal. Before Revelation, we were going to call it the end of the universe. Then a couple of months later in May, Clownfish tweet this saying, told ya. And this is from an article with from Screen Rant. Masters of the Universe Revelation isn't a reboot, but a sequel series, as it will pick up where the original series from the 80s left off. One major difference is, though, He-Man will certainly be around, but he won't be the main protagonist anymore. Instead, the focus will be on Teela, which is 100% correct. He's killed off in the first episode. He makes a 1-minute cameo in a flashback in the second episode and the third episode. In the fourth episode, there is a version of him that turns up, but it's actually conjured from Skeletor in Hell's mind or whatever. So it's not actually technically He-Man. It's Teela facing her fear. By the way, Teela's fear is she's scared that she's so amazing. And I'm not even making that shit up. She's so scared that she could be so amazing. And then at the end of episode 4, Adam turns up because they go to heaven and Adam's there. And then at the end of episode 5, Adam is stabbed and left for dead by Skeletor. So this is absolutely correct. Kevin Smith, again, even though he's not added into this conversation, takes it upon himself to reply once again to Clownfish TV to say, with all due respect to Screen Rant, then why don't you just reply to Screen Rant? I've read every Masters of the Universe script for our shows, plus wrote a few, and viewed 4 amazing animatics. While Teela is as present as she's always been in Masters of the Universe adventures, and she plays a big role, our series is literally all about He-Man. Lie, which is an absolute lie. Now, let's get to the podcast. The wonderful Steph, My Nerdy Home, she has taken some clips from the podcast. Now then, this was a miserable affair. It really was to listen to. Kevin Smith was so uber defensive. Kip Dynamite was an annoying little person, to say the least. He enjoyed attacking the fans. Kevin Smith tried to wordsmith his way around insulting the fans directly, so he did it passively or passive-aggressively, in as much as he would say, well, there was this, and there was this, but that was an article that I had nothing to do with, apart from I retweeted it to my 1.3 million followers on Twitter. You know, type of business. And they spent 20 to 30 odd minutes saying why it doesn't matter. None of this criticism matters. None of this matters. If it doesn't matter, why have you spent nearly half an hour of your show talking about it? It clearly matters. It clearly got to Kevin, but there were various things which we're going to go into now, which I found exceptionally interesting. Now, this is what Kevin has to say in response to the accusations that he lied about Masters of the Universe, which, of course, he did.
How we do it in episode 1 is he gives his fucking life. He sacrifices his life. Now, I've been accused of lying for saying that I'm like, He-Man does no stepping aside. If He-Man giving his life for the entire universe is stepping aside, then Tony Stark stepped aside. Jesus Christ stepped aside.
Okay, we'll stop that. We'll stop that right there. First of all, the stepping aside is you're arguing semantics. It's just the way that it was expressed. Basically, what they were saying is He-Man gets pushed out of the picture somehow. So you're literally arguing semantics. Secondly, no, Tony Stark did not step aside. Tony Stark had 10 years of character arc, going from Iron Man in 2008 all the way through to Endgame. He had 10 years to get from that to his self-sacrifice at the end. So He-Man was killed in the first episode of the show. That is definitely being pushed to one side, stepping aside. He's no longer alive. The duties were passed to Teela, just as the Screen Rant article said, just as Clownfish TV said with their tweet back in March of last year. So you're trying to argue, Samantha, and the Jesus comment is just so stupid I ain't even going to respond to that. He-Man didn't go through an arc to die together with Skeletor. It happened straight away. That's like Iron Man and Tony Stark dying in the beginning of Iron Man, not in Endgame. Here we go.
How we do it in episode 1 is if He-Man giving his life for the entire universe is stepping aside, then Tony Stark stepped aside. Jesus Christ stepped aside. Like, it's a messianic moment, and if you follow, like, you know,
it wasn't a messianic moment at all.
Classic literature, the hero's arc, like, bless you.
He didn't have an arc. He was killed in the first episode. There was no arc.
It's where the hero has to go. Eventually, you have to sacrifice your life.
It's where the hero has to go eventually, not in the first episode. Anyway, he then talks about how the biggest Master of the Universe fans are working on his show.
This is why I never like worried about like, oh, people are going to hate the show.
Yeah, again, this is 25 minutes of telling people how he's not bothered, how he's not worried. Okay, 25 minutes. Sounds kind of defensive to me, but whatever.
Because my bosses were two of the biggest Masters of the Universe fans on the planet. So over at Mattel Television, the guy that hired me, Rob David, he's not just a suit at Mattel. He has been writing Masters of the Universe comic books for DC for the last like 2 years, Attorney of War, shit like that.
Great stuff. And then he's this is my favorite. Then he says, Netflix don't care what you think. Netflix don't care what people who didn't like the product think, because they've got 210 million subscribers. So who cares, according to Kevin Smith, what 5 or 10,000 disgruntled people think about the show? Don't worry about it, Kevin. We don't care what they think. Just get on with it. You've cashed your paycheck. You're all right, darling.
Attention on a thing you don't like. Yes. Streisand effect.
The Streisand effect. That's absolutely right. There's an articles talking about this review bombing. I have nothing to do with the articles. I retweeted the one article and I said,
I had nothing to do with the articles about review bombing. I retweeted them. I retweeted them to my 3.1 million followers on Twitter, but I had nothing to do with that review bombing. Nothing to do with the articles, but I just retweeted it. Jesus.
I'm like, oh, at least we're in good company. They did this to the boys and Captain Marvel. Many people were very quick to point out they only did this to the boys because they were putting out one episode a week. And Captain Marvel, like, why would you compare yourself to that? If those
First of all, with the boys, the Rotten Tomatoes user score and critic score are actually not massively far apart. And as he said, they were not happy because they were releasing it once a week. Well, they did 3 episodes to start with, then once a week after, and then 3 to end with. It was a very weird way which they released the episode. And as for Captain Marvel, what's that got to do with Masters of the Universe? Nothing. People just didn't like Captain Marvel, but the critics, of course, loved it. But it's apparently it's deemed as one of the worst Marvel films around, but whatever.
Those are your two you know, fucking rocks you're standing on your fuck and shit like that. So, you know, when people hate a thing, they fucking find a way to defeat you on every point and every turn. And
yeah, maybe they're not beating you through any other means than they're just using logic. All I'm doing is using logic. You're saying you didn't have anything to do with spreading news about the Masters of the Universe being review bombed, but I retweeted the article that did to 3.1 million followers. You see what I mean? The people are defeating you based off what you're saying. They're taking what you're saying and they're turning into just logic, just fact. You can't say I had nothing to do with anything about the review bombing, spreading that news, but you know, but I did kind of retweet it to 3.1 million followers of mine. Come on, Kevin.
So I didn't. They were acting like I said that we'd been review bombed. I was literally fucking quoting an article that was up.
Yeah, they were saying we've been review bombed. I was just quoting that they'd said we've been review bombed. I wasn't saying we've been review bombed. He's getting so pedantic now.
That review bombing thing, like it was so weird because I'd been a witness to it from the outside in other occasions. I remember when that happened to the boys, and I was like, how strange. And when it happened to Captain Marvel,
didn't happen to the boys for the ways that you think it did at all, and it wasn't review bombed at all.
You know, never did I thought we'd be at the epicenter of it, but there we were and stuff. And so naturally, I was like, oh my God, what does this mean? Like, is it going to bum anybody out, or are we going to fucking be in trouble? And the folks upstairs, like, put it on Front Street. And this is not me being a dick, man. This is just me kind of explaining.
This is not me being a dick, but I'm just about to be a dick.
Like how counterproductive it is to go all in against something you hate. Their reaction was like, Kevin, this is amazing for the show. And I was like, yeah, but all these people are mad. They were like, yes, it looks like about 5,000 to 10,000 people have written nasty things. And they were like, but we have 210 million subscribers. And I was like, oh, so mathematically we're safe? They're like, safe as kittens. So like, you can do it. And I ain't trying to stifle anybody's freedom of speech. Absolutely. Go ahead and stuff. But it won't do what you think it's going to do. Yeah. I too.
Don't bother. If you don't like it, folks, don't bother speaking up and saying, hey, I don't like this for the reasons that I don't like it. Just shut up. Because we at Netflix, we don't care. Because we got 210 million subscribers. So you're absolutely irrelevant. We've already got your money. It's tied into your subscription fee. So whatever. But don't speak if you're disgruntled. Just shut up and take the slop that we throw at you. And you should be grateful. You should be grateful for that.
Like them was like, oh my God, this is a bad thing. And they were intending to do a bad thing. And I'm not saying it's a nefarious plot or bots and shit, but all the people like,
I'm not saying it's a nefarious plot or bots, but I'm going to say that nefarious plot and bots.
It's a little suspect that our, you know, we're, what is it called? Fucking certified fresh. Yeah. And then our audience rating is like in the toilet.
No, because Rotten Tomatoes is one of the most manipulated sites on the internet. And they did it with Captain Marvel. They've done it with Doctor Who. They've done it with Star Trek. They've done it with other franchises. And they're currently doing it to Masters of the Universe too, because they locked the user rating for the last 24 hours or so. And now it's just slightly on the creep up, but they can't really do too much about it, which is rather hilarious. And the fact that the critics, they're the ones who have got anything more to lose, because they're the ones that want the access, because they're access media. They're the ones that want the interviews with you. They're the ones that want the toys from Mattel. They're the ones that want to get the viewings around the manufacturers and all that kind of stuff. They're the ones who want to get the scoops, who get the press releases, who get the press passes. They have more to lose by speaking out against a product. Meanwhile, the users, they're the people who have actually paid money for the product. They're the ones who've actually physically handed over money to watch this, and they've said, hey, I'm not satisfied with this product. This product was not good. So which, logically, do you think has more to lose? The person that's already given money for it, or the critics whose actual livelihoods depend on kissing your ass to get their access?
Right.
But hey, that's just, you know, they'll always find a way to beat you in an argument.
But so just so everyone doesn't say like he thinks it's a fucking conspiracy.
No, you're the one using the words, mate.
He thinks it's a fucking conspiracy. I'm not saying that. That's what I read. I don't know what to think of this.
That's. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. I just read that it's a conspiracy. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. I just read that it's a conspiracy, folks.
Point and shit like that. But I do know this much. Based on what I was told by the people that like pay my salary, that doesn't matter to them. Like they literally don't care.
Based on the people who pay my salary, it doesn't matter to them. They literally don't care. From the horse's mouth, Netflix don't care. So take your criticisms and just, you might as well just not waste your time and energy, folks, because we don't care. This is all made. The next 5 episodes, they're all made. They're all done. They're not changing. They're just going to decide when to release them as season 2. But they were already done and dusted. There's no more work to be done there. So we don't care. We got your money. We got your Netflix subscription to come and watch it. We got your money. 210 million of you. We got you. We don't care no more.
Send me tweets where like I was on Comic Book Men one season and I was like, yeah, I was a big He-Man fan and shit like that. And they're like, aha! Like as if Netflix was going to be like, Kevin, you should have told us.
And again, he's being disingenuous. He's being dishonest here. He's perverting and twisting what people said. Kevin Smith himself said, you know me more as the Marvel and the DC comic guy, but the Masters of the Universe, that's right up there with them. And then it comes out through tweet and through his own TV show. He said, I don't care for He-Man at all. I don't care for it. So people aren't calling you out to Netflix. They're calling you out for being a liar. 2 instances of you saying, I don't care about He-Man. I don't care about that. And then when you've been given the job as showrunner, essentially, for this, you turn around and you go, this is my favorite franchise, right up with DC and Marvel comics. It just shows how much of a liar you are. Nobody's trying to get you fired from Netflix. I don't think anyone gives a shit about that at all. People are calling your character into question, not your job, your character. Because your character shows that you're dishonest and disingenuous and a liar time and time again. And you put out a garbage show where Teela is one of the most unlikable, horrible characters I've ever seen. And it doesn't do the Teela from the original series or the 2002 series any respect whatsoever. She's now a horrible, nasty, self-absorbed, narcissistical man with her girl Friday. So it's your character that's been put into question here, not your job.
There's the door, you know, like that shit doesn't like matter to anybody who writes a fucking check or something
Nobody's
like that.
saying that, Kevin.
You can like rumble, young man, rumble by all means. I was 20 once and
kids, rumble, young man, rumble. I was 20 once. It's only kids. It's only kids, folks, that are shouting and complaining and saying they don't like it. It's just kids. I mean, the guy who's making it, who claims to be, you know, a champion of the geek fucking brigade, he's over 50 years old. Gary from Nerdrotic, 52 next month or the month after. You know, a lot of us, we're getting up there in age, but this is what we've grown up with, and this is what we love. We love our geekdom. We love our nerddom. I don't plan on stopping loving it anytime soon. I mean, there's plenty of franchises which are making me not like them anymore, but there's plenty of good ones still out there which I will embrace. So it's not just kids. Don't dismiss criticism so flippantly as kids. No. But there again, you've already said that you don't care. You know, Netflix, you don't care. You got your check. You got your money. It's okay.
I fucking hated things as well. So and pop off as much as you like. Come at me on Twitter. My Twitter stream is like, honestly, but
well, why did you turn your comments off for the podcast, Kevin?
95% love fest of people who are like, this is amazing and blah blah. Very complimentary. I thank all those people. And then 5% of you ruined my childhood. You're a cuck. Fucking a lot of very derogatory. And then some people who aren't even derogatory who just write long tweets about how I ruined it and stuff like that. Long, thoughtful tweets. So, you know, in that stream, it's still positive. Like, it's like,
it's so positive that he spent 25 minutes saying why it doesn't matter. So positive. Everything's so positive. Look at just how miserable they are. Just how he looks tired, drawn. So positive that instead of just starting the podcast and going into all the positive aspects of it and talking about all the positive things about the show and talking with my guest, the voice actor for Orca, about all the positive experience that he's had, we're going to spend nearly half an hour talking about how the negativity doesn't matter and how it doesn't get to us and how it doesn't bother us and how it doesn't bother Netflix and how you're wasting your time if you do, and you're just shining the Streisand effect on it and it's not doing anything but helping the show. 25 minutes. Probably the length of this video. Okay, that doesn't sound much like any, you know, defensive, but whatever. And then they get someone else in the show, and he basically says, hey, if you don't like the new He-Man, go watch the old series. Because, you know, that's a great way to deal with criticism. If you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. That's exactly the same thing here. Instead of listening to the criticism, actually fucking listening. You've just dismissed it all. You've dismissed it as kids. You've dismissed it as a waste of time. You've dismissed it as Netflix don't care. You've dismissed it as I've already got paid, so it don't matter. You've dismissed it. It's all in the can. Instead of actually listening to the criticism, you've just dismissed it all. Which shows that A, you're so close-minded. B, you know you've been called out and you know you're wrong. C, that you know you've crafted something shite. Because you wanted to be Kevin Smith, queen of the intersectional feminists. Now he talks about clownfish here, and he let's listen
real
to this.
time. You want to see the story
This is going to be a long video by the looks of it. Let's get into this one.
unfold. You don't want to preload those expectations. You got to get tricky with your words to be able to weave around these traffic cones. And it's like,
no, you don't have to get tricky with your words, because when you when you tell the truth, you don't have to think of the lie. You don't have to. Judge Bloody Judy said that. When you tell the truth, you don't have to keep track of the lies. What lies have I said to get me here? Does this mesh with that one? Does it work if I say this? Does that, just by telling the truth? And this little gimp here as well said, why do these people come knocking on your door? Clownfish TV didn't come knocking on your door. Kevin Smith knocked on their door, not vice versa. They didn't link Kevin Smith in. Kevin Smith came in of his own accord. He was the one that started the fight. And by the way, this is your great writing of Teela. He-Man didn't hurt me. This is Adam in heaven. He-Man didn't hurt me, Adam. You did, because he didn't tell her that he was He-Man. And I couldn't even scream at you for it. I died. Yeah. And the rest of us had to live with it. Fuck me. How selfish is this character? Absolutely unbelievable. So anyway, so Kevin Smith came knocking at Clownfish's door. So let's see what was said.
I didn't even think I was tricky with the words. I literally said, Tila does no stepping aside.
I think you were, yeah.
She has a friend who's a girl, but not a girlfriend.
So queer baited, confirmed. Queer bait confirmed. Tila hasn't got a girlfriend. But yeah, don't worry about that.
She does not wield the sword of power.
Right.
I'll just tell you right now, man. Fucking, this is another spoiler. And Netflix is gonna be like, shut your fucking mouth. But she never wields the sword ever in any of the episodes.
That's
Well, that's because she's gonna probably become the sorceress, and maybe her companion, her girlfriend, becomes. We'll see.
So everything
Yeah.
I said was like God's honest fucking truth. And a bunch of people
No,
were like,
it wasn't. It wasn't God's honest truth. Should we have another look, Kevin? Should we have a look? While Tila is as ever present as she's always been in Masters of the Universe, no, she's the main character, and she plays a big role, our series is literally all about He-Man, who's killed in the first episode of 5. Who turns up for a 1-minute flashback in episode 2, a 1-minute flashback in episode 3, as an evil doppelganger in episode 4 that isn't even him, it's just a visage of him. And isn't even in episode 5. Adam is. Gimpy little femboy Adam. Tila is the main star of the show. It's not literally all about He-Man. It's literally all about Tila. And Tila with a group of girlfriends going around trying to rebuild the Sword of Power. You are lying.
you better apologize for lying. I'm like, I didn't lie. All of those things are fucking factually
No, they're not.
true.
But it's like rolling up to George Lucas and going like, why haven't you acknowledged that Darth Vader is Luke's father? And he's like, it's 1975. Slow your roll. I haven't shot the first one.
That is possibly, by the way, Griffin, that is possibly the most retarded thing I've heard in a long time. And I've just been listening to this podcast, which is pretty retard on its own. It's nothing like that. It's nothing remotely like that at all. Clownfish put out a tweet from an alleged insider. They are being as kind as they possibly can be. An alleged insider saying that Tila makes a better He-Man than Adam. He steps aside and lets her and a girlfriend take over hero duties, which is essentially correct. You know, bar a little bit of better phrasing, it's essentially correct. That's Kevin Smith has chosen to engage with them. They haven't come banging on Kevin's door and going, Kevin, why is Tila the star of your show? Why isn't He-Man the star of the Masters of the Universe show? And Kevin going, whoa, I haven't even written it yet. No. That's Kevin coming to their tweet to say your tweet's wrong. Your tweet is wrong. That's like George Luke. That's like two people in a pub. Here, dude, fucking gimp boy. That's like two people sat in a pub, in a social area, in a pub, right? Having a pint and saying, hey guys. And people turn around and go, I had a rumor that this new He-Man show is actually going to be about Tila. And then Kevin Smith bursting through the door and going, no, it's not, that's not true. And then going outside and screaming to his other 3.1 million followers the same. Dumbass. Absolute dumbass.
In real time, you want to see the story unfold. You don't want to preload those expectations.
Netflix is gonna be like, shut your fucking mouth. Fucking fat.
First one yet. Wait your turn.
I feel, look, the folks have
Fake ass laughed by him as well.
So you apologize to Clownfish. Clownfish was the operation that our website and video show and stuff, whatever it is. And I'm not dismissing it. I have to be so fucking careful because anything I say, they're like, you're attacking Clownfish, and I'm like, not at all. I've always been very fucking kind to Clownfish. But regardless,
I don't know about kind. I mean, I don't think he's been aggressive, but when you have 3.1 million subscribers and you come after somebody, they didn't at you, and if they atted you, I would say fair game. Fair game. because they atted you and you have the right of reply regardless of how big your channel is. You have the right of reply. Now, you could see it as punching down like a lot of people do, and therefore you wouldn't bother, particularly if the rumors weren't actually true. Like if somebody tweeted at me, oh no, Twitter. If somebody had tweeted at me or say a message to me, because I get shit every day of my fucking life being a YouTuber, of course I do. And they're just like, hey, yeah, I heard that I don't know, your video on this is going to be about Transformers, your next video. And my next video is going to be about Transformers. And instead of me just keeping quiet and then just putting the video out when it's ready, I turn around to this person and start going, who's got, I've got 3.1 million. They've got 20,000 subscribers, let's say. Me turning around to them going, no, what? No, my next show's got nothing to do with Transformers. And me going after them. Now, the rest of my followers, they see me going after somebody, trying to discredit them. So what do they think in their head? They join in because they think, oh, well, if they're going after them, we get a dog pile situation. Because if it's not true, and Az/Kevin is defending himself, then we're going to go defend the person that we like. That's why you've got to be very careful when you do have 3.1 million subscribers and you want to lie to somebody who's called you, who hasn't necessarily just called you out, but has said from an industry insider the truth. I shouldn't apologize to them. You should fucking apologize to them. And they should turn around and tell you to go fuck themselves. But I think they've got too much class for that. I think they'd turn around and go, no problem, Kevin, because they're nice people. But my God, do you ever owe them an apology?
Clownfish, people are saying you lied to Clownfish. You got to apologize. And I honestly fucking believe with my heart, I put my child's life on it. None of those things I said are fucking.
I would put my child's life on it. None of the things I said was untrue. Wow. Holy shit. Harley, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about your father. I really am. I mean, he lied. He knows he's lied. There's proof of his lie. But he hand on heart, on my daughter's life, fuck me, I don't think I've lied. I don't think I can go any further. When you've said something like that, you've lost everything. You've lost every single thing about your credibility whatsoever. So there we go, folks. Kevin Smith was so unbothered by the criticism. He was so unruffled by what people think of his new series that instead of actually having a podcast where he talks about how positive it is, he spent a good 20 to 30 minutes talking about how it doesn't get to him, how it doesn't matter, how people are wasting their time, whatever. He knows he fucked up. He's refusing to admit it. He's lost all credibility now. His future projects, be damned, you know? I'll never fucking support this guy again. No way. Not a chance in hell. Hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up. I know it was a long one, ladies. And also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and YouTube for live streaming. Links are in the description box down below. I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.